Oh, hello. We're
Oh,
live.
hello.
Welcome to the Sword and Laser pre-show.
I'm Tom
Um,
Merritt. It's
we're
just a
not really
pre-show.
starting. This is don't do that. You're gonna freak me out.
Just a pre-show, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. All good.
Um,
Like,
did you put it on Diamond Club TV yet?
I'm trying to find the link.
Do you want me to email you the link? I mean, message you the link?
No, I got it now. There it is.
I don't believe you.
It takes forever. Link to post.
Mm.
It's really easy when you're the host to find the link. It's really hard when you're not.
Well, I mean, I could do it if you want. If you would rather I do that instead of doing the social stuff.
No, I can do it. It's going to take me a second. Don't mind doing it.
2011. So,
Shared
is this like
publicly.
super boring for Tensor Guy if you can only hear one half of the conversation?
I don't know. Is it super boring, Tensor Guy, to only hear one half of the conversation? He's imagining what you're saying.
Oh, I guess technically he could listen to the live stream.
That's true.
Technically. Did I
Wow,
tell
someone
you that I told all the PR people for the book publishers to send all the books to your house now?
to my house or
No, to the P.O. box.
to the PO box? Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Totally
I
fine.
don't have any room for them anymore.
Yeah. That's because you have your fancy new place. You don't have room, whatever.
No, that's not why. Um,
Be the first to ask a question, and it will appear below. What the?
Welcome to the Sword and Laser pre-show. Welcome to the Sword and Laser pre-show. Gonna have to edit this all out of the podcast.
There we go. Finally,
Go
I found what I was
into
looking for.
the chat room right now.
Man, it's been a while since I did this.
Do you need help?
No, I'm fine.
You keep saying that.
It's just taking me a long time.
You keep saying that.
I do keep saying that because it's true. I'm putting it in right now.
Ah, Tensor Guy posted it.
Show off. You posted it.
Well, no, he didn't post it to the... He just posted about us going live. He didn't post the actual...
He didn't
Yeah, it's
post the
still
link.
NSFW.
All right. There, it should be changed on diamondclub.tv.
It
Yep,
is.
it is. I'm
Wow,
old and slow,
there's
but I get the
quite
job
delay.
done.
All right, let me post it to the Twitter nets.
To the Twitter nets and beyond. Patrick Delahanty has FSL Tonight questions because he's working on an app.
Smells like burning in here.
Oh, it's probably because you're burning. All right. Is the chat room? Do I still have yeah, there's the chat room. Oh, look, Veronica's in the chat room.
Something smells really burny. I hope it's outside. I'm not in my house.
Probably your laptop. So do you have a mixer?
Mm-mm.
You should get a mixer. That's what you should get for your new studio. Uh-oh. Now I'm actually worried.
Well,
Hamster on a piano.
can't tell where it's coming from. So
So it's
smells
probably
like something electronic is burning.
it does? Oh, that's
Yeah.
not good.
Like something. I can't tell where it's coming from though.
Like shielding is burning.
Yeah, I'm getting dizzy now because I'm like hyperventilating to smell it.
I thought you were going to say, I'm getting dizzy now because the burning smell, but no, it's...
Let me just run through the house real fast.
All right, yeah.
It's real fast. It's real
fast. That would be a good,
okay.
Smart idea, yeah, to do that. Burning is not good. I'm going to run through my house real fast. What do I do with those figures?
Where'd you go? Can't just leave. Tom, you can't leave. Then there's nobody who's watching the stream. Who will watch the stream? Okay, I'm back. Hi, guys. So I smelled a burning smell, and are you laughing? I can't. Tom, where's Tom? Tom. 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 Where's Tom? Tom. Tom. I don't know where Tom is. I left because there was a burning smell, but it appears to just be coming from outside and not in my apartment, so that's good. Hey, guys. What's up? Oh, wrong Veronica, buddy. Wrong Veronica. Oh, you guys want to hear something funny? So all I do all the time is get spoilers for the Divergent series because the author, Veronica Roth, people send me tweets to her, but accidentally to me, and complain about spoilers, complain about things that are happening in the books. So that sucks. I've had all the spoilers for that show. All right, well, I guess we'll get started when Tom comes back. I don't know where he went. Tom. I lost Tom. Oh. I don't know what that was.
There she is.
I'm back.
I just plugged in some speakers.
Oh.
That's
Hi, I actually heard when that happened.
Do you hear
the
yourself
burning smell's
back?
coming. No, not now.
Okay, good. So I've got it down.
Yeah, so the burning smell's coming from outside. They're doing construction near my building, so I think it must be like they must be mixing
like tar
or something.
That makes sense.
Good. So I'm not dying. Well, I'm dying slowly, constantly.
We're all
for the rest
dying.
of my life,
Sure.
but I'm not dying actively from that at the moment. All right.
It's a lovely thought.
You want to get started?
Yeah.
All right. Let me open a couple of links here. All right, and 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome to the Sword and Laser episode number 183. I'm Veronica Belm. Oh, nope, stop. I forgot to record. Oh wait, I guess I don't need to record. I forgot to record, and then I remembered that I take the YouTube video.
But you won't have to wait for the YouTube video.
You're right. You're a fucking genius.
Make sure to edit that out.
All right, Google Talk is recording, and now I'm recording Audio Hijack. Okay. Let's do that again.
Yes. Oh, I haven't posted this on Twitter yet.
Would you like me to wait for you to do that?
I'm retweeting you. Oh, you already retweeted us on Sword and Laser. You retweeted yourself.
Just that kind of person, Tom.
All right.
All right, and 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome to the Sword and Laser episode number 183. I'm Veronica Belmont.
And I'm Tom Merritt.
And this is a science fiction and fantasy book club, podcast, book publisher, video show, other things.
Book publisher, not
right?
kidding around.
I know. Very exciting. There's the book itself. You just keep a copy right there on your desk, huh? I don't have mine that handy.
I do, because anytime when I'm podcasting, it may come up, and then I can go, well, there it is. You want to look at that instead of me.
Well, we are streaming live right now on diamondclub.tv, so hello to all the live viewers, also on a live Google Hangout. So if you want to come check us out sometime doing the show live, usually we post about it on Tuesdays in the afternoon when we record, typically around 3:30 to 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. So please join us there. It's always fun to do the show live. But let's kick things off with what are we drinking, Tom?
I'm having a Jamaican-style lager today called Red Stripe, or Stripa Roja in no language.
In no language, and specifically not in Jamaican.
Definitely not in Jamaican, no.
Which isn't really. Is there a separate language?
They call it Red Stripe.
I think they call it Red Stripe
in
English, which is
Hence
what they speak.
the name Red Stripe. It's you know what, though? What I found is Red Stripe is always bargain priced, and it's really good.
Oh, it's a good beer. Super good beer.
So, if you're just looking for your bang for your buck, it's a decent lager.
I thought you weren't drinking beer anymore. I thought beer made you feel crappy.
It does.
Oh. Taking one for the team?
Yes. That's
like how I wear my contact lens, even though it makes my head feel crappy.
I think if I have one, it's fine. It's when I'm not, and obviously when you have 12, that's a problem. But I do get a little beer hangover differently from drinking other things.
Gotcha. I am drinking
gluten. I don't know, something.
Maybe you're gluten intolerant. You should talk to Patrick Beja.
No, because I'm fine
food
with bread.
Sensitivities.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I am drinking a 2011 Canoe Ridge Cabernet Sauvignon, the Expedition.
Canoe Ridge?
I don't know.
Nice.
I got it from the... It's pretty good, yeah, actually. And I did the thing where I opened the bottle like 10 days ago and left it on the counter with the cork in, but uncorked.
Yeah.
It still tastes great. It tastes better.
Oh.
It just needs to breathe. It needs some air.
It's just slowly breathe through a cork.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad, though. I'm trying to get rid of all my open bottles of wine before I move this week.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This is also the cleanest my office has ever been and will ever be in this particular room.
And this is the last time we'll see it, huh?
Yeah. Next time we podcast, I'll be in the new house.
No kidding.
Yay! Huzzah. I'm very excited.
Is Lem moving in with you?
Lem... Oh, hold on.
What, you just get up and leave in the middle?
Big
Lem. Oh, yes.
But Yarn Lem is...
Yarn Lem.
Yes. Geeky Awesome Jen, at Geeky Awesome Jen, Jennifer, brought me this fabulous knitted lem that she made for me. She brought it to Nerdtacular, where I met her in person. And she also made something for Tom, if I remember correctly.
It's a knitted gavel. Because I use a gavel on the Current Geek podcast, so now I can more safely gavel people in the head with the knitted gavel that won't hurt them.
That is awesome. If you're not watching the video live stream, I have a picture of me and Jennifer with knitted lem up on the blog at swordandlaser.com, so definitely go check it out. I am so thrilled. That was so awesome. That's a lot of work, man. That is like some serious skill. I can't do anything that creative. I am not a creative person.
No, we just do podcasts.
All right, well, speaking of which, let's jump into the quick burns.
Starting off with a posting from Hyena in the news section on Goodreads. And remember, we want to hear what you guys want to know about news. And Hyena's was the only one in the past 2 weeks. So don't hold back. Get in the Goodreads and post the news. Because we need to drink our wine and beer. We don't have time to find news.
I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. No, I'm just kidding.
So thank you, Hyena, who pointed out the bleedingcool.com article that a writer, this is not an official announcement, but a writer named Simon Kinberg told Jeff Goldberg on a podcast that Ridley Scott is not just producing the Martian movie, he's going to direct it as well, and Matt Damon is in fact going to be the star.
Yeah, I mean, we played around with some casting ideas, and I think we had heard a little bit about what may or may not happen in terms of a film upcoming from Andy Weir himself when we did that interview. But this is definitely like I hope you guys can't hear the Hangouts talk. That is annoying.
I can't. No.
You can't hear it? Well, it's part of Google, so I'm scared that it's being captured on the podcast.
No, I'm not hearing a thing.
Okay. Anyway, Andy, did mention that there was some work being done in regards to the book coming out as a film, and this looks like very promising. How do you feel about Matt Damon, though?
I actually like Matt Damon. I mean, I also like to make fun of Matt Damon because Team America World Police did such a good job of making fun of Matt Damon's name. But I think he's hilarious. I think he does a good job in many different kinds of movies. And so this to me is not a Ben Affleck being Batman situation. I actually think I can think of people that maybe I would have preferred a tiny bit. Sam Rockwell was mentioned in the thread by someone. I think it was Bob, Fresno Bob, and I could totally go for that.
Well, I mean, but if you think about Sam Rockwell, I mean, he just came off Moon, and for him to go basically from Moon to
makes
the
perfect
Martian,
sense, right? You go to the moon,
trapped on a planet, trapped on an object in space.
Yeah, he might resist
typecast.
Yeah. So I think Matt Damon will do a great job. I can see Matt Damon, especially having listened to the audiobook version, which Andy Weir said it was a little more gruff than he imagined it writing, and I could see Matt Damon doing that kind of character.
Yeah, I can see him looking astronauty.
Yeah.
Or what are they, cosmonauty?
Cosmonauty.
Cosmonauty.
That's a whole different movie starring Matt Damon, and directed by Ridley Scott. I think that's a cool thing too. Is not just a Ridley Scott production, but he's going to get in there and direct.
It's also really setting it up for success in many ways because you have like a major director, producer, you have a A-list actor who does some incredible films, and he does action films, he does more serious drama type films. He's a likable guy, which I think Watney is definitely a likable character. So I think it'll work out. Some people in the forums were like, "I'm out, I'm done, forget about it."
I know Trike said that, and
I always found that very surprising.
Matt Damon has that effect on people. Some people just are like, nope.
Is he polarizing?
I'm out, Matt Damon. He I think early in his career, he got cast in some people's eyes as that guy. But I think he's redeemed himself in my eyes. Just the things he's done on Jimmy Kimmel alone.
I know. I think he's really funny. All right.
And this is going to be a Sandra Bullock moment. Like, he's going to be able to show off his chops. We will know Matt Damon's soul after this because he is on the screen alone for the most of this movie, one would imagine.
That's a very good point. I mean, there are other scenes, at NASA and at other facilities around the world that take place in the book, but I think primarily it is very specifically all about Mark Watney and what he's going through on Mars. So I'm looking forward to it. Did they have a date there?
2015. No actual release date, but sometime next year. So this thing's going to happen fast.
So I don't know if you remember when we were talking in the pre-show about the bad smell that was happening in my house because of the construction.
Yeah.
Now my entire house is shaking. Like vibrating intensely.
Let me know if you have locusts.
I started looking around to see if my phone was ringing on my desk, and then I realized that my whole body was vibrating, not just what was touching the desk.
That's a cool ringtone. It shakes the whole house.
So there's that. If you hear a deep rumbling happening right now, that's me. All right, well, let's move on.
Veronica's apartment is about to be swallowed by a hellmouth. Let me tell you about Scott Lynch's update for The Thorn of Emberlane, the next in the Gentleman Bastard series. We will not have to wait 6.5 years this time, apparently. Although it's not going to make it out by 2014. Scott Lynch, via the Wort Zone, Adam let us know about this on the Wort Zone. Scott Lynch said that he will have it handed in by the end of the year, but it probably won't be published till 2015.
Fantastic. And now we also have the winners for the 2014 Locus Awards. I believe we talked about the nominees in a recent episode, but now we have the actual winners. And there are some doozies. For Best Science Fiction Novel, Abaddon's Gate by James S.A. Corey, which I know Tom is excited about.
And don't forget the Locus Awards are voted on by fans. So these are
fan awards.
These are the fan picks, yeah.
So I feel like you probably feel very vindicated, I guess.
I'm happy.
Validated.
Validated would be a good word.
Best fantasy novel.
For fantasy novel, that's cool.
And first novel, Ancillary Justice by Ann Leckie. I was pronouncing her name Leckie, and then someone said Leaky the other day, and so now I don't know what to do.
I believe she told me Ann Leckie when I saw her at the Nebulas.
Okay.
And Anne, if I'm wrong and I was just saying it that way and you were too polite to correct me, I'm sorry.
Her book agent said Leaky to me.
Oh,
so now I'm confused.
That she was just...
But I would imagine Anne probably knows how to say her name better than anyone.
Or she just was like, oh, well, that I just won't correct him.
Yeah, but anyway, there's a lot in here. Best novella, Six Gun Snow White by Catherine M. Valente, novelette The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman, winning lots of things, and anthology Old Mars, which was edited by George R. R. Martin and Gardner Dozois. So very cool stuff. A lot of stuff to check out.
You remember how J.K. Rowling said we will not see another Harry Potter story from her?
She's a liar.
She's a total liar. Over at Pottermore now, you can get a column written from the perspective of Rita Skeeter, the journalist, describing Harry Potter at age 34, as well as his wife, his closest friends, and a few other recurring characters.
This all feels very fan servicey.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet myself. Did you get a chance to look through it?
I haven't read it yet. I just saw it this morning that it was posted. So I do want to go read it though.
Yeah, it's very exciting for big Potter fans. I probably will check it out eventually. I've read all the books, but I'm not like biting at the chomping at the bit to pick up this next story. But is it free online?
I believe so. Although I'm looking at Pottermore right now and I don't see an obvious link to it, so I'm not sure how you find it.
Okay. Well, maybe it's behind a paywall or something. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But anyway, moving on to some insidery baseball stuff. We are kind of going to LonCon 3 by way of via Open Road Media. So we're working in conjunction with them to bring you some author interviews from LonCon in London. And we're going to be talking to Kate Elliott, Ian McDonald, Robin McKinley, Ian McLeod, Todd McCaffrey, who we've had on the show before, Liz Williams, and Simon Green. And so we have a thread up right now on Goodreads where you can go and ask some questions. Now, they're going to be pretty general questions because what we're going to do is take all those questions and responses and put them together into kind of a mecha video, like a
mechanized
Autobots,
video
roll out, form together to create a giant video of answers.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool. So that's going to be in August when LonCon happens. So we're collecting all of your questions now, and then we'll put them together in a great collaborative video project with us in Open Road. So I'm really excited about that.
Veronica, I know what our plan is that we record ourselves asking the questions, and then they'll ask them to them there, and we'll edit it all together. Don't you think it would be easier for us to just fly to London?
No.
No.
Okay. No.
Worth a shot.
I mean, unless you're paying. Are you paying, Tom?
I'm sure we could crowdsource it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I ain't got time for that, unfortunately. I really wish I could go, but it's been a busy, busy summer. But I'm happy that we're able to still get these answers and ask these questions to these awesome authors, even though we won't physically be able to be there. So thanks for Open Road for helping to make that possible.
Yeah. Thank you, Open Road. You guys rock. Time for some picks.
Picks.
I'm a pickin', and you're also a pickin'.
Hey, so we have been collecting reviews from you guys, which we post on the website under the featured reviews header, and you guys have been great about sending them in. I have been bad about posting them as often as I should, but the most recent one is a featured review about Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. This one was written by Derek Brown. So he did a great, thorough review. This is the book, in case you don't know, is kind of what happens next after the happenings, the occurrences that took place in The Shining. So it's like, I believe it's like 30 years later or something like that. And we're learning about the kid and what happens to him in his later life.
The kid and the custodian, I believe, right, are the two main characters?
I don't know. I'm too scared to watch The Shining or read it.
The Shining I loved. Shining was the first horror film that I could watch as a kid because it wasn't just a bunch of stabbing. And so I wasn't like, oh, this isn't gory and gross. It's psychological. And I was like way into it.
But it's still creepy, like the little girls.
Oh, it's super creepy.
And I saw some great shots that were taken on set of the two little twin girls, and they're just like happy and little tiny kids and like having a blast, but they're in this horrific makeup. Like it's pretty fun to see.
All work and no play makes Veronica a dull girl.
All work and no play make Veronica go something something.
Here's Veronica.
Don't mind if I do. What are you reading?
I'm still reading Cibola Burns. I've had some things get in the way of my reading. So I finished Traveling in Space, and I enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed Jeff Kanata's reading of it, and a really intriguing premise that I liked the concepts they played with in it about, if you don't know, it's about aliens discovering Earth, and they thought they were the only life in the universe until they discover Earth, and what happens after that. Spola Burns, of course, the James S.A. Corey novel. I'm a little over halfway through that. I did get distracted by Nerdtacular this weekend in Salt Lake City that we were both at, and I got a little distracted by Civilization Revolutions 2 on the iPad.
I've been distracted a little bit myself by Hearthstone, so that's been taken up a lot of my time, more so than I care to admit. But I'm finishing up Hunted by Kevin Hearn, The Iron Druid Chronicles #6. I believe I mentioned that in the last episode. I just downloaded Shattered, which is the most recent book that he released on Audible. So I'm looking forward to getting started with that. And also, I just finished our book club pick for the month.
Oh yeah, I'm making progress with Dawn by Octavia Butler, and we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, but there's a lot more stuff coming up too. Half a King by Joe Abercrombie is out today, July 8th. And by the way, if you're going to be in San Francisco on July 28th, we are all going to the Joe Abercrombie meetup at Borderlands here in the Mission. So if you want to come see Joe Abercrombie, you know I do. Come join us July 28th at Borderlands in San Francisco.
30. Isn't July 31st the Sword and Laser meetup?
No, July 28th is the Joe Abercrombie meetup. July 31st is the Sword and Laser meetup.
So that's like we're competing. People don't have to choose. They can go to both, right?
They can go to both. Why do no? They're
both.
two different. They're two different
you
days.
Have time? Don't tell me you don't have time to go to both. You totally have time.
I am going.
Place.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking to the audience.
Oh.
Because they're out there saying like I can't go. Yes, you can. You can go to both.
Well, if you're gonna pick one, come to the Sword and Laser meetup. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone loves Joe Abercrombie, though, so you're probably going to do that.
I mean, listen, absolutely adore Joe Abercrombie. Can't wait to read Half a King. But it's only half a king. You go to the Sword and Laser meetup,
get a whole king.
Get a whole king. That's all I'm saying.
I can't promise any kings will show up. I can't make those kinds of promises.
Offer for a king is not valid in California.
Yeah, not valid after.
Also out on July 15th next week, The Causal Angel by Hanu Rajaniemi, which has been highly anticipated by the critics, and I'm curious to read that one as well. Year's Best Science Fiction, the 31st annual collection, edited by the Gardner Dozois, and Full Fathom 5 by Max Gladstone. As well as The High Druid's Blade, The Defenders of Shannara by Terry Brooks. Those are all. Next week's a big week.
It is a big week. That is absolutely true. Well, speaking of things that are... Wait, no.
We should... No, we've got to tell them that if you want to find links and anything that's coming out in the calendar, go to swordandlaser.com/calendar. We've got
That's really good because...
all the way through February 2015 on there.
That's a long time from now.
It is.
Who knows where we'll be then? Those books will be coming out, but who knows where we'll be.
Yeah, you can pre-order all of the books unless they're on Hachette.
Well, Tom, I'm glad... Too soon. Well, Tom, I'm glad you interrupted me because I was about to make a very bad segue into Barrier Sword, which is our feedback from the audience.
What was it going to be?
It just wasn't going to make any sense. I was going to say, speaking of things that are big. It didn't make any sense.
Okay.
Not my best work.
Well, it could have made sense in an odd way, but Let's talk about Nokomis.fl's post on the Sword and Laser forums about how 2 years ago Tor Books became the largest sci-fi publisher to go DRM free. We mentioned that on the show 2 years ago, and Tom Doherty took the stage recently to explain why he dropped DRM from his books.
Yes, it is interesting. There's a whole post about it on Boing Boing, actually back from May 29th. So this is a little bit older than I expected. But yeah, they're talking about why they've done what they did. And it actually goes into some of the Hachette stuff as well, and Amazon because of DRM-free situations and whatnot. So yeah, it's a long read, but you should definitely check it out over on boingboing.net.
And by the way, the Hachette thing today, Amazon offered to give 100% of the revenue from sales of Hachette books to the authors if Hachette would agree to it, which is almost dirty pool. Like, because the authors, there's been a lot of like, you're hurting the authors by doing this, Amazon, with your hardball negotiations. And this is Amazon's response, is to say, fine, we'll give up all our revenue to the authors if you will, Hachette.
Oh, that is pretty dirty.
Yeah.
That is pretty dirty. Yeah, someone emailed us recently saying why were we going through Amazon and through Barnes and Noble for the anthology, because they had DRM on their ebooks, and we said, well, actually, we're publishing everything through Lulu, and you can download a DRM-free version of the book directly from Lulu, and then that then goes out. Lulu handles all the publishing deals with Amazon and Barnes and Noble and the other ones. So we don't say
DRM free on Amazon, and I'm not certain that our Kindle version is with DRM.
Yeah. So yeah, you can have it however you want it.
In our Lulu settings, we say please no DRM.
Because we just roll like that. That's how we roll.
Yeah.
And Kevin wants to point out an article about why we love to hate villains. He says, while the article talks about TV and cinema, it applies to books as well. Is the fascination with grimdark here to stay, or will taste change in a few years? What do you think? And then Andrew P. kind of goes on to say, I think it's already on the way out. Brandon Sanderson remarked on his recent book tour that he was deliberately writing heroic fiction instead of grimdark, and it seems to be working out pretty well for him. But yeah, but grimdark seems to be working out pretty well for Joe Abercrombie. It's just about taste. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. It doesn't have to define which way fantasy goes just because one thing is popular right now. People are always going to be writing to what they find exciting, what they're passionate about. And yeah, there's always going to be trends in fiction, whether it's in sci-fi, fantasy, or just traditional fiction. So I don't know if it's that we love to like villains, or I think we're always attracted to villains in some way. That's why they're in stories, because it makes a story interesting.
Stories
the more complicated they are, the more interesting they are.
Boring. Yeah,
right.
You need a bad guy. You need conflict.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most interesting stories are the ones where it's unclear who the villain is. Like maybe you think the villain is this person, and then they have a redeeming quality, and then the hero seems to have some less redeeming quality, and it gets all complicated, and that's grimdark. Mm-hmm. And I think grimdark received a boost in popularity because fantasy had been so positive for so long. People liked the change. They liked to see a little something different. I don't think grimdark's ever going to go entirely away, because somebody like Joe Abercrombie is going to do a great job with it. But yes, now we've kind of gotten over that, ooh, this is different, and we're into the like, okay, I've seen a lot of this, so only the best people at it are going to continue, and then some other reaction. And I'm not saying we're going to go back to like, blazing castles on a hillside with white ponies or anything, but there'll be another author come up with something that nobody else has had, another take, and then the trend will go that direction. Maybe it's going to be ancillary justice with, pronounless books will suddenly become hot. Who knows?
Who knows indeed. And speaking of the whole self-publishing thing that we were discussing a little bit earlier, David has a post called Duty to Self-Publishing Authors. It's kind of a long post, but I'll kind of boil it down to the idea that he writes a lot of reviews on Goodreads and on other sites. And I think he feels bad because some of the first books by self-published authors aren't that good, and so he reviews them poorly. He gives them, 2 or 3 stars or whatever. But should he instead give them good reviews to encourage them to keep writing and keep self-publishing and improve their work down the line, or should he just review how he feels? And then there's a lot of discussion about this, particularly by Gary. And he says, I have some pretty strong thoughts on this one, and they come mostly from dealing with my own writing and work. In fact, I've struggled a lot with it, and I have to say I don't think many people who self-publish their work have given any real thought. It shows in their product and in their responses to both critics and readers, so I'm going to take this opportunity to spell out some ideas. And then he goes on at length to kind of go through his opinion on that. I'm not sure how to really condense this because it's quite long. There's a lot of numbers. So you guys will have to go and read it yourself. I'll read the first paragraph. If a person reads 100 books per year and lives to be 100 years old, that is 10,000 books for a lifetime of reading. I think we have to recognize that this is pretty optimistic. According to Pew Research, the average man reads 4 books per year and the average woman 6. So that's 10,000 books in a lifetime, and that's for a pretty serious and long-lived reading hobbyist. If each of those books is 200 pages and it takes that person half a minute a page to read them, then we're talking about 1 million minutes or 16 to 17,000 hours. Again, those are optimistic numbers. By comparison, a full-time job is about 2,000 hours per year at work. That reading time represents what could be 8 years at a job worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could be several college diplomas. Heck, it approaches the time required to raise a child. A serious reader should be given the respect that you would give any other person doing a job. So I think what he's getting to is that the obligation of a reviewer is to review the way you should do a good job reviewing the books.
Yeah.
Don't mess around because you think that you owe someone a responsibility to build up their work.
I agree with that. I think if you are concerned with discouraging someone from the creative process, because maybe somebody, as he points out here, Gary points out here, maybe somebody's writing is the equivalent of finger painting right now, but you have to start somewhere, right? And so if you're thinking, well, their prose is atrocious, but I don't want to discourage them because if they keep at it, eventually they may get better, then give constructive criticism in your review. I don't think you should lie and say you liked the book just to encourage someone, because I don't think that does them any favors. You're telling them that their bad work is good, and then they won't improve if you were the only feedback they got. So, I would say don't just slam a book and say this book was awful and a piece of trash and should be thrown away. Say, I didn't like this about the book. So because as someone who has written and self-published, I want that kind of feedback. That's always the more helpful kind of feedback, is someone saying, I didn't like this confused me, this particular part seemed awkward, because you're being specific. If you just say, I hated your book, that's not helpful either.
Right. And it's funny, too, because I think we're both kind of going through that now, especially with the anthology, which we self-published. I keep looking at the reviews and being like, why are people giving it 3 stars? Or why did that one person give it 1 star?
Yeah,
and you take it very personally, but you want honest feedback so you can do a better job next time.
Yeah, exactly.
But most of the reviews have been good, so thanks, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed the book.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it's time to talk about the book of the month, and it's one of those months where we're kind of in the middle of reading it. It's too early to wrap it up. I know Veronica's done. I'm not done yet. So we'll try to be non-spoilery here. So if you don't want to be spoiled on anything at all, you might want to jump out right now, but we aren't going to get super spoilery. I am very early in the book still because I was finishing Traveling in Space, and then I was actually traveling through space, outer space. I am enamored with this book from the beginning. I know that Octavia Butler is a fantastic writer, and of course I'm not disappointed in that way, but the concept and the way she draws you in just seems to reflect a really good execution of so many different tropes woven in a way I wouldn't expect.
Yeah, I was really taken with it immediately. I love the character of Lilith, and I really can't wait to dive into some of the subject matters that kind of pop up into the book when we do the wrap-up episode. But like you said, it is pretty early in the month still, so I don't want to spoil it for anyone, and I don't want to take away from the active discussions happening on Goodreads already. But yeah, Lilith is a very cool character, and the situation that she's kind of thrown into is so unusual. And so that kind of brings me actually to the first forum post that I kind of selected to talk about in this episode. This one was by Joanna, and I don't think she goes too spoilery into the actual book itself, but it's about the unequal relationships in the story. And if you've read through the book so far a little bit, you can kind of see where she might be going with this. Joanna says, so I've read a few of Octavia Butler books, and I've only now noticed a pattern. She portrays quite a few unequal relationships, where one part of a pair, or more, is significantly more powerful than the other. Often the more powerful one is fond of the less powerful and wants to protect them, but neither are they willing to let them go. Often the less powerful is attracted to the more powerful, but they are attracted against their will or better judgment and resent the fact that they cannot leave. Books of hers that I think have such relationships are Dawn, as we've seen, Fledgling, Bloodchild and Other Stories, and Wildseed. She goes on to explain a little bit about Kindred, another book that she wrote. But she goes on to say, so I have to wonder why this kind of relationship was so compelling for Butler that she chose to portray it multiple times. Was it a way to try and communicate the types of relationships that her black slave ancestors would have been forced into? That humans set at odds with themselves do interesting things?
Yes. from the little that I've read, and I know there's probably people in the audience who've read a lot more about Octavia Butler herself, she was attempting to expose readers to ideas of race relations and feminism through her work in a way that would be easier for them to wrap their heads around, because if you come at someone with an ideology that's different from their own, sometimes they just block and they won't listen.
Whereas well, also if you come at it like race, this is a race discussion, people get like,
all of a sudden people are like, I don't want to talk about that, I'm uncomfortable. Right. But you come at it through an alien invasion story, then you don't realize you're exploring those issues. And I think it's really astute of Joanna to identify that, because she is, from what I understand, intentionally putting some of these unequal power relationships out there to explore those issues in ways that are less divisive, so that you don't take a side because you aren't a tentacled alien who doesn't actually have eyes and looks like a sea anemone. So you're not going to be offended when that sea anemone person is portrayed in a certain light, but then you do have a human character that everybody can identify with, and then suddenly you're put in a position that maybe isn't the position you lived through, but you start to have a better empathy for what people who are human and are in that position all the time feel.
Yeah, and I was definitely getting a sense of that reading the story, and there's so many interesting dynamics between, gosh, I really don't know how to pronounce Olloi. Are you there
Eloi
yet? Where you're?
Is how they say the auto.
Oh, how do they say it?
Eloi.
Eloi?
Yeah. Almost like Eloi from the H.G. Wells Time Machine.
Interesting. Eloi. Okay, because it's spelled Ooloi.
Oiloi.
Oiloi. There's so many very like the sexuality themes in the book, the relationship themes in the book, the interplay between the humans and the aliens, and the humans especially, I think is very telling. And yeah, I can't wait to dive into this for the wrap up. But like I said, I don't want to get into it too far.
No, but this is a good meta theme that you don't have to spoil too much of the book to talk about, because I think it does cross a lot of Butler's works from what I understand. This is the first one I'm reading of it. But at the same time, it's one of the things I love about it, because you really are put in Lilith's place. No matter who you are, you understand her. You understand where she's coming from, because she's in such alien circumstances. In fact, did you read Influx, Daniel Suarez book yet?
No, not yet. No.
There are some very similar type scenes with totally different contexts around them.
Really?
I have really enjoyed thinking about and comparing when thinking about those first opening scenes when Lilith is in her room, and I find that quite interesting.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I think there was already some discussions on the forums about, oh gosh, what was I going to talk about? Oh, human reactions to the aliens. And that's just something I want you guys to kind of keep in your mind as you're reading. Like, how would you react to this situation? Would you react the way that Lilith does, or would you react a way more like a later character named Kurt reacts, for example? So just kind of keep an open mind and try to think like what your response would be in this situation, especially with some of the ways the aliens kind of control the people, the way they kind of calm them. Just keep that in mind as you do your read through, so we can kind of bring that into the discussion when we're further along. Excellent.
But yeah, really enjoying it, and it seems like people are enjoying it on Goodreads as well. So it's a good pick. We need to start talking about our July pick soon.
I know. I have to pick our July pick, especially because we're going to be selling it at the Borderlands event on July 31st.
Do you know how you're going to pick it?
I don't.
All right.
Should I just do should I just pick it?
What, like right now?
No, not right now. I don't have any resources to do that. Pick? That would take too long.
Yeah, we've had votes the last few times, right?
Okay, maybe I'll do a dictator pick. All right, I'll work it out this week, I promise. We'll get a next pick. And I don't know if we even actually mentioned out loud, but we are reading Dawn by Octavia Butler, part of the Xenogenesis series.
Yeah.
Book 1 of that series. So join us. Why don't you?
The Name of the Wind is #1 on the Fantasy Listopia, and I guess we never officially read it, huh?
No, but I feel like everyone's read it already.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Well, yeah. I want something like not too recent, but not too old. I want something like 90s era. I think that's what I'm going to be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
For completely arbitrary reasons.
Well, no, we actually haven't hit that era in a little while, so that I get that.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that about wraps it up, unless there's anything else you wanted to add.
I don't have anything else. Thanks to all the folks at Nerdtacular that came out to our Sword and Laser community management panel that Veronica and I did. That was a lot of fun. And of course, we just had a blast at Nerdtacular the whole weekend.
Absolutely. Oh, and of course, we have we are a member of the Boing Boing Podcast Network. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. That's what happens when you are reading red wine. So you can check out more podcasts over on boingboing.net/category/podcasts. And of course, you can reach us at feedback@swordandlaser.com. Our website is swordandlaser.com. All of our discussions happen over on Goodreads. And if you want to call and leave a voicemail, the phone number is 415-7-SWORD-6. We will see you guys next time.
Adios.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Veronica.
Did we forget to read the ads? Did we have an ad we were supposed to read?
We totally didn't have ads in there, and we need to have ads in there.
Crap. How can we do that? They were not in the lineup because I made the lineup this time, and I just copied it over. That's why that happened.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay, so the only way we can do it, and we need to do it, is to say, well, hold on just a minute, and then do the ad.
Okay. Would you like to do that live in this Google Hangout?
Yeah, and then you'll have to add them.
Okay.
Them in. But yeah, I'm trying to find the. Okay.
Add copy.
So the pre-roll. Do you want me to do the pre-roll first?
Yeah, I'm recording.
This episode of Sword and Laser is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website, portfolio, and online store. For a free trial and 10% off, visit squarespace.com and enter offer code SWORD at checkout. A better web starts with your website.
Cool.
Wait, hold on, Veronica. Did you know that our episode is sponsored by the same people that make it possible for us to have a website where people get the podcast that they're listening to right now?
No.
It's like Inception.
Like Podception?
Yeah, it's Podception. It's called Squarespace. Have you heard of it?
I have. I have heard about it many times.
How did you hear about it?
That is because that is the very platform on which we create swordandlaser.com.
Do you find it fast and easy? Because I do.
I do. It is fast and easy to create a blog, a website, a portfolio, really any kind of website that you are looking to create.
I actually think it is one of the things that has saved the calendar on Sword and Laser. Because let me be honest, Veronica, just for a moment here. Can I be honest?
Always.
The lies that I normally tell. I find updating the calendar tedious sometimes because it's just like, I got to find these dates and stuff. And the fact that it's so easy to just slap the text in there and make a highlight and make it a link on Squarespace makes me keep doing it. And also because then people like it. But that's just like the simplest thing that Squarespace does. You can do like full portfolios. You created that whole store, which was beautiful with all the big graphics and stuff in Squarespace.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy. Just import the pictures. You just basically drag and drop them where you want them to go, where you want them to fit in with other text on the blog or on the website page, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Plans start at $8 a month. They include a free domain name if you sign up for a year. They've got great support. They have an online store notice in there. Start a trial with no credit card required. You may want to don't give them your credit card. They don't want your credit card.
They don't want it.
When you start building your website, they're like, no, we don't care about that. Just build a beautiful website. Use one of our templates. Then, when you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure to go to squarespace.com and use the offer code SWORD to get 10% off your first purchase. Then you give them the credit card and show your support for Sword and Laser at the same time. We thank Squarespace for their support of Sword and Laser. Squarespace, a better web starts with your website.
Cool. All right. Now.
And then the mid-roll survey.
Oh, I stopped recording. Okay, crap. Okay.
And
Where's that going to go?
maybe we should just do this at the end.
Okay.
You know how you stopped and was like, hold on, I lost my train of thought?
Mm-hmm.
I can segue into that.
All right.
So this is your edit note. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Something fell off your train, Veronica. I got it here, though. It's a Sword and Laser survey.
Oh, yes.
It's how they help us find awesome people like Squarespace and Audible and all those folks. Short, anonymous survey. Takes people no more than 5 minutes. Your answers will help match our show with advertisers that best fit the sensibilities of our podcasters, listeners like you, so you're not like being advertised something that you're like, I don't need that. You're advertised things like Audible that are perfect for you. Listeners who complete the survey will be entered in an ongoing monthly raffle to win a $100 Amazon gift card, and we promise not to share or sell your email address, and we won't send you an email unless you win. So it's safe. Go to www.podsurvey.com/laser. That's www.podsurvey.com/laser. Take the survey and get a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card and help Sword and Laser. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, cool. Well, we got that in. Let's see if there's any questions that you guys want to answer. Nope, no questions, just nice comments. Thank you. Oh, Josh wants to know, hi guys, really like these live hangouts. Are we going to get to see you on the East Coast anytime soon? No.
Maybe for me.
Maybe for you?
I've got to do a bunch of New York work, especially in October, so I might be out there for a week.
Cool. All right, well, I've got a lot of editing to do on this show, so I guess I better get started.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thanks, and also Vaginal Fantasy tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific time, over at, I don't know where it streams, Geek and Sundry's YouTube channel, I would imagine. So check it out there, or check out Twitter, Vaginal Fantasy. We'll post the link there as well. So see you later. Bye.
Bye.